is this? Oh, this. Wait, something.
一样的。我们目前现在的研究现状呢，可以的一个相对位置，把它们序列黑色贴近干扰情况下，就产生了决策错误。那么说明我们。
There's the international.
Object detection is a computer vision technique that allows system to identify and detect an object in the image. And it is our more performance, but I use the MFT for large object, and the last one is the MFT for all area. And another one is for application. Our model is original model because it's original model for object. So we believe that adding the global has a lot of effect. It can catalog the
I personally assessment near this type of indicator, and it basically consists of hyperparameters. However, the result for 16 high classification, it is highly overfitting. So I added 11K samples using 35K samples using the same model and hyperparameter, and the accuracy, precision, recall, and amateur significantly there. You see, perform better than Lama, and the human perform poorly compared with LLM. This is most likely because of the cognitive biases we have, and in ICL, the chain of thought prompting.
Then for work, I think this is. Good afternoon, investors. So welcome to my. So far, I did because I've been using ChatGPT and PC. So I have three in the comparison in the multilingual translation. Why this is this? Because I feel that the CHI doesn't affect much than and it doesn't. How is it?
So there are several visualization systems for function model analysis. The most easy is just to analyze what has model. is that after computing these metrics, you can project it into the visual system that I proposed. And up to the system design, this is the overall. This one is the demo of the visualization system. This is the IMD data sets. Basically, what I'm demonstrating some basic visual tasks is that you can select these most named changes right here, and then you can use an animation to see how the overall structure changes. And then the purple one indicates that
Good morning, hello everyone. My name is and today I'm going to present about my thesis dissertation paper. And yes, I changed the title of it. It's called a comprehensive analysis of large language model evolution and head business vision evolution. So business vision is a way to present your business for investors to evaluate your business prospect and in order to boost up your startup money. Here we'll go through.
刚刚表给你们大概多久？不是你吗？不是你刚才那个。
乔已经
一周一开。对，你是帮我叫。
挺好，挺好。
叫不过来，谁都不会成交。
So then you have to find some. So then the name of today's topic is like covered by the overview, theoretical framework, methodology, and experiment design, and some results analysis, as well as foundation. Overview. So this is the statistic that there's like 150 million startups globally and 50 million per year and 370K per day, and there's like 20% failure. That's why incubators is very needed in startup process. And here is the research that is initiated by this professor Li Zhuoqian. I met her during my internship project in MPE department, and he's been working on the internship research and as a VC, venture capital. So the problem here is that it's very expensive to have a business incubator or startup accelerator, as a while we have to invite mentors, experts, and logistics. That's why it's very not accessible to everyone. And right now we are trying to make sure to do the technology to improve this evaluation process and to mitigate this limitation of human bias, fatigue, and subjectiveness. And here in the latest work, I don't really find like related topic about this research. And the first one is the data set that I'm using in this research. It's by this professor. And there's like 4 cohorts here, and there's like 166 business plans. And the other 2 is more into the startup. The first one is how AI is used to do a business plan, and the third one is like an incubator for AI startup. And here I'm talking more into the theoretical framework, LLM. I use mostly with the transformer model architecture. Well, first we use a token for embedding, vector embedding, and positional encoding for the word order and relationship. And then the core mechanism of transformer is that it helps with self-attention for parallel processing and long-range dependency. That's why the purpose is to have the prediction of the output. And here for the open source model platform, I use firstly GPT-4.0 and then DeepSeek for the prompt engineering. And the open source fine-tune model is like Ansel library from the Hugging Face application. And the fine-tune model that's provided from Ansel library is Mistral AI, Meta, and Meta Llama, and then P1 2.5. And each of them have different specifications, which I will explain later. And the Harvard specification, I use the HPC from Sussex as well as the SLT4 from the Google Colab. And here still in the theoretical framework, to evaluate the business plan, we have like this matrix that we conduct. First is problem and solution, how clear is the solution, how clear is the problem, and how unique it is. And then market competitiveness, how's the market right now, and is it good enough, and what's the unique point of the business, and then the target consumer, the trend, size, and accessibility. And the third part is like the business model premium, because as an investor, they will think of like the cost of the business, like is it profitable, and is it realistic and scalable, and will it deliver correctly. And the 3 other metrics is team culture, is it diversity match, is it have like cohesion and culture vision alignment. And the second last is execution plan, how good it is going to be, like the milestone, the key performance indicators, and lastly is risk assessment. So the first metrics that we do is like based on like how the human judge the business plan, which is very subjective. And here I try to convert it to more input-based, so it's have more fairness and transparency, and it's shown that the result is improving. in the methodology and experiment design, this is like basically what the overview of what I've been doing. First is data process. So because the raw data that I have is like 166 PDF business development, and I have to convert it to Markdown and JSON alpha in order to be able to do the fine-tune LLM. And in the model customization, first we use the role-based prompting and fuse shot and the chain of thought prompting. But first we are using the raw PDF directly to the GPT 4.0, so it's like very costly. That's why you need like Markdown. And for the alpha, I use it for the like function LLM, which have the lower annotation, instruction tuning, and long context processing. Other than that, I also gone through the AI workflow automation. So firstly, I automate the process of like evaluating through the system prompt using API from the third-party application like Cose and 8N. And then the second type of workflow automation that I have is prototyping a web developer. And all this methodology and experiment design is based on having a context-specific instruction and role definition. So here are the initial results of the role-based GPT-4 and Q1 Hugging-based prompt method. We can see like the GPT role, although like I have like 4 different types of specification, the output is very bad. It's like having a very standard output like in the range of 4 to 5. While the human expert just have like a very high range of variety. And in Q1 there's like a huge range of changes, but it still have a bad output. You can see also here like the distribution and the correlation. And with the new improved metrics, we can see like there's an improvement in results. Here the LLM content specific have better in like alignment with human base score. And we can see like there's a correlation with the word count in the business plan. That's why like the maximum word count here is 3,000 and it has a highest number. And here the output result analysis is like the correlation between the human and how drastically the improvement that we can get. So like from 6% we lead to 24%, and there's a high correlation with the word count also. We use this 4 type of the statistical analysis rather than accuracy of like FN, FE, and so on. And for the fine-tuning, I use the tree model, and here are the results of them. The blue one is llama, second is Q1, and the red one is Mistral. And each of them has a specific strength, weakness, and opportunity threats, which like Mistral is more left general focus, so it has high efficiency and strong performance in reasoning, but it has a small specific domain, so it's suitable for fine-tuning, but it can be outpaced by the large model. And the Q1 and Llama, for Q1 it's mostly about multilingual and structural prompting, while Llama is more like strong general knowledge, so it's less updated to the loss function. Okay, conclusion. So it's an innovative application and comprehensive evaluation where I have an experiment variety and I do a practical and realistic data handling. So it has a promising result for the simulating chess personas, and I have the automation of a system prototype such as upload, parse, evaluate, and report through the web developer MongoDB front end. But I've already seen on the improvement of the model, so it's like have a big leap enhancement. But here we can see there's a strong limitation and bias where strong limitation in bias. So like there's a big token cost and like inability to parse the video context and the graph and tables. That's why, and there's a connection issue with the problem with the open source model. So yeah, there's that's all from my presentation.
Okay, thank you. Can you give us a little more background on the research?
Oh, okay.
Come to this to do this kind of research.
Okay, so like I met this professor during my last summer during the ME department. There's a shop innovative practice, that one. I joined that one, and then she opened a research assistant position, and since then I've been to do like some help for their research. And yeah, and I discussed with my professor if I can do it as my thesis, and she said yes, and this is
Okay,
okay.
okay. Then from the time that we'll check part, did you do a fine-tuning of what kind of files?
Yeah. Like I changed the data, like the related to the alpha JSON. Yeah, and we have the pre-trained base model like Llama, Q1, and Mistral by the ASCOT. And then I tested the data training, and then I get the loss function here. And then I test the model, but the performance is not as good as the big model because this one is like only 7 billion parameters. That's why like I believe like it's still very good in like giving like qualitative feedback, but for the quantification it's like very general.
Fine-tuning, what is the kind of fine-tuning? Problem here.
Because this one is more specific based. So because what like business plan, there's a lot of like scope to the domain, right? Here we can like give more data context and like give the model have like specific domain to analyze that.
But I believe nowadays most of the similar other approaches can use the parameter.
Yeah.
We should probably more like a different model.
Yeah. I tried the GPT-4 and it was like the meta set is also like very huge, and like I'm trying to move into the DeepSeek. I think it's progressing well. This one is the output from the DeepSeek. Yeah, it's really higher than the fine-tuning, but the fine-tuning have like more into technical part, I guess. Yeah.
So the notion actually is making this scoring.
Yeah. Scoring and qualitative feedback.
Qualitative feedback.
Yeah.
It using this metric is
Before. focus on the business development instead of like how the role based, like how each gets experience and subjective opinion about the business plan. Because this one is LLM, right? So we focus on the business plan, like how good is the business plan, and then measure based on the evaluation metrics.
This is over prompting. You use the future approach, future prompting or zero shot prompting.
I use few shot and the role based prompting.
Future prompting, how did you get that?
Fusion, I just use the example of the instruction guideline for how to give like the output. Yeah, like the example of like how many metrics and what is the result on scale 1 to 5 like that. Yeah.
Okay, so you did not use the data you have to train out.
Yeah, I cannot.
You did not. Okay, got it. Alright, well, honestly, it's a little bit, I think if you write from an AI major,
Mhm.
that's fine.
Okay.
Research major would have some problem, because time depth is a thing. But
Oh.
I think it's okay, I think you're very reasonable complete job. But otherwise, it would be better to have more time to depth.
On the prompt engineering.
Yes, that's very bad.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.